Hi, this is Julie with Beadaholique, and today I want to show you how to use Nunn Design channel bead cores to make your own Pave set crystal beads. What you're going to need is you're going to need some epoxy clay. I've got some white crystal clay right here. If this was brand new, the packet sizes would be about this large, but as you can see, I've used it for other projects. It does go quite a long ways. I've got a variety of shapes and finishes here for the bead cores, including one which has already been turned into a pendant, and it actually comes that way, which is very handy. I've got assorted shapes and sizes of Swarovski Chatons. I like to have more than just one size available when I'm doing a project like this, in case you get to the end and it calls for a little bit larger or a little bit smaller of a chaton. I've got an applicator tool. This is a magic pick. It allows me to pick up my chatons very easily. And I've got a pair of gloves to put on when I mix my clay. We have a full video showing how to use crystal clay, how to mix it up, and all the nuances of it. If you want a more in-depth explanation of crystal clay and how to mix it, please refer to that video. But I'm going to show you how to do it here real quick, and we're going to fast forward through all my mixing until we get to the actual project. Now that our crystal clay is all mixed up, I have it in a ball shape, and I'm going to take this size of the bead core right here, and I want to transfer that onto that. To do that, I'm going to take it in my hands, I'm going to roll it so it's a longer cylindric shape. And then I'm going to tap it down lightly so it's a little bit flatter. And I want it to be approximately the width of the bead core itself. And at this point, I'm actually going to take my gloves off just because it's a little bit harder to work with the gloves on. Place that into the channel. Carefully work it around, pinching it as I go. You have an hour to an hour and a half work time with crystal clay once you've mixed it, so don't worry about rushing this process. And I like the delicate little detailing there on the edge of the bead core, so I don't want to go over that edge. I'm just pressing this into place, gently pulling at it, but I don't want to actually drag it because crystal clay might show some cracks if I do that. Once I've got it all the way around, to smooth it out, I'm going to roll it between my fingers. Again, I can see where my seam was, so I'm just going to keep working with this area until I feel like it's smoothed over. There we go. And again, roll between my fingers. I want to make sure, look at it from the side, I wanted to make sure there was no big bulge, like it was a lot thicker on one edge than the other, but it feels pretty even. And I am happy with that. So now what I'm going to do is I need to apply my chatons. The magic pick comes with this handy little pad, which has a piece of tape on it. You can see it's sticky, and that helps to make my applicator sticky, a little bit stickier, and so I can easily pick up my chatons. So I'm going to take one chaton, and I'm just going to carefully press it into the clay just so that the edge of the chaton is slightly below the edge of the clay. Now you can do whatever pattern you want. I want to apply these at a diagonal. There is no wrong way of doing this. As long as you get that edge of the crystal below the edge of the clay, you're going to be fine. But you can come up with a whole host of patterns, whatever you like. There we go. I think I actually want to do a second row of the same color right next to the first. And I'm trying to hold it just on the hardware ends, just on the metal, so that I'm not touching that clay. Okay, I'm going to rotate it again. I'm going to switch my color. And I'm just going to keep following my pattern. And you're going to do that all the way around your bead. All right, I've gotten back to basically where I started, but you notice I have this one gap. I can either do one more row of one of the colors. I can do the darker kind of orangey color, the lighter gold, or I can use one of my larger stones. And looking at that, that's just going to be a little too large. This is why I like to have a lot on hand when I play with these things. And I think I'm going to go for the darker color. So one side will have just a little bit more of the darker color, and that is totally fine. It's going to look great. We'll just pretend it's part of the design. There we go. And when you're all done, what I suggest you do, because as you're setting these, you can kind of feel that the clay is shifting a little bit. So just lightly go over the top. If you do this light enough, you're not going to get fingerprints in there. And I'm actually going to roll it again very, very gently. I just want to make sure all those stones are set. And I would suggest you let this dry in an upright position overnight before you start working with it again. And there we go. And you have a beautiful, custom done, sparkling bead.